I'll warn you right now, just having one of those days where I have foot and the mouth syndrome. I actually talked about that on my transit video for Thanksgiving week holiday this morning. And so this is probably going to sound choppy. So actually I'm recording this after I did all that, but I'll put it at the front now. Guys, Ray from Apple Valley Astrologer. So I recently had, I can't remember exactly who asked me, so don't be offended or upset that I forgot, because I didn't print screen the question, and it wasn't really a formal question to me that I was going to make a video out of, but it was more of a response or reply to somebody requesting or kind of hinting at how they wanted me to give them my interpretation of what the planets and the houses represent, because as I've said before, I try to simplify it because when I first started astrology, first off, just to be completely upfront, I do have a Scorpio Mercury, which makes me more interested in reading, researching, and all that. But as far as I'm concerned, my Scorpio Mercury was either MIA, in hibernation, like dormant, something, I don't know, for quite some time until I reached my early 20s. So for me to even process basic information or read and understand simple concepts and ideas and subjects was a challenge. So, and then of all things, I tried to take on a metaphysical subject like astrology, which came with its whole own set of vocab words. Well, as time has gone on, I've been trying to figure out a way to explain things because of certain components of my chart, I kind of understood how things worked, but I didn't know how to explain it. So I've been struggling with finding a way to explain it, verbalize it in a simple way, because I know I cannot be the only one that struggles with this. And even if I am one of the rare few that does, at the very least, I'm doing people a favor and making it a lot quicker for them to learn the concepts and understand how the schematics of astrology works. So these keywords are just my personal interpretation. I didn't get them from any book references or any other posts for astrologers or publications. And this is just how I associate with them. So when I've referenced before that there's certain planets or houses that have key phrases or action words, the planets I associate the term action words with more than the houses, because the houses aren't always actions. They symbolize, they have different associations and they symbolize keywords. So I'll just go ahead and go over that here right now. Alrighty, so my action words for the planets. So if you're not familiar with the glyphs, it's the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. I know I'll confuse the heck out of everybody because I guess depending on my mood or whatever, if I'm kind of automatic writing, I go back and forth between the P and that symbol, just the ancient symbol well, not the ancient symbol because Pluto wasn't one of the 7 orbs, but one of the older symbols, I guess. So anyway, I'll go over the action words. So I know that some of these aren't verbs, but if you were to translate what the word means and imagine it being some sort of actual action, that is what I'm insinuating with this. So just in case anybody goes, like, what the heck are you talking about? That's what it is. Remember the whole me not having reading, writing, and arithmetic and speech as my strong suit initially early in life, so give me a break. Anyway, so intent would be associated with the Sun, intuition would be associated with the Moon, intelligence would be associated with Mercury, harmonious or harmony would be associated with Venus, proactive would be associated with Mars, philosophical would be associated with Jupiter, authoritative or authority would be associated with Saturn, eccentric or eccentricity would be associated with Uranus, and then spirituality would be associated with Neptune, and then instinctive, or instinct, would be associated with Pluto. So then I go over, those are my action words, like I said, and then I go over the associations that I have. So the sun to me represents character, the moon represents feelings, the Mercury represents cognition, Venus represents relations or relationships, or actually, I don't want to put relationships, that's why I put relations to everything. So not just from one person to another, just relations in general and how you view different things in the exterior world. And then Mars is your energy, and Jupiter is your meaning, or finding meaning, purpose, meaning in your life. And then obviously Saturn is discipline, Uranus is enlightenment, Neptune is subconscious, and Pluto is psyche. So I know I was thinking about these for a second when I wrote these up, and I realized that there's a significant overlap between psyche, subconscious, and intuition. But after I was arguing with myself, I kind of came to a conclusion that there is some differences, but they're they overlap so much that it's sometimes hard to understand or be aware of the differences unless you really break it down and think about it and overthink it too much. I'm really good at doing that. So anyway, here is obviously my wheel here. So I'll just go around first and start with some of them here. So the outer keywords or associations, I would say, would be the first house would be self, second house would be success, third house would be speech, fourth house would be origin, fifth house would be interests, sixth house would be health, seventh house would be relations, eighth house would be others, success, ninth house would be meaning, 10th house would be purpose, 11th house would be aspirations, and 12th house would be understanding. Then, again, the action words, these are more of action words, or kind of indecisive about how I want to label that, but I'm trying to just keep a theme going and pretend that that's what I meant. But I was kind of just really quick writing this as it came to mind, and I just liked what I had going on up here. So, the ascendant is obviously the beginning. It's nothing too original there. So the second house for Taurus is sustainability. The third house of Gemini is association, so association with your external environment. And then your fourth house for Cancer is your foundation. And then your fifth house for Leo and the Sun is individuality. And then your sixth house, Virgo, and which is associated with Mercury, is the physiological awareness. So that's when you start to be more aware of your limitations and certain needs that your physical body, your ascendant needs in order to sustain itself and live throughout this life. And then your DC is bonding. That's the seventh house of Libra. Then your eighth house is intimate association, or I was going to put intimacy. Either one works. It's the Scorpio eighth house. And then the ninth house is validation. So if you actually watch that rant I did about science for the win, I kept reiterating validation as a form of evidence, either inner validation or outer validation. Inner validation would be qualitative evidence. So I think I was just going on a tangent more about that, and I'm just incorporating that word into my vocabulary now on a regular basis. So the 10th house that's associated with Capricorn, your MC, is fulfillment. The 11th house associated with Aquarius, Uranus, is objectivity. This is where you start to understand the bigger picture. If you're looking at it from an evolutionary astrology concept, you have found meaning, you found your purpose, and now you're starting to see how everything ties in together and how everything works. And it's not all about what your interest in individuality, like Leo would assume in the 5th house. And then the 12th house is reintegration, so the Omega. So I actually meant to put Alpha here, and I, for some reason, forgot to. So the Alpha and the Omega, I was talking about that with my boyfriend the other day, about how it's very interesting that that's associated with some Bible verses, the Alpha and the Omega, because the Alpha is the beginning, the Omega is the end, and that's the way the cycles go, and essentially we are manifestations of from a religious perspective and from a Christian perspective, we are manifestations of Jesus Christ or God. And essentially, from an academic science perspective, we are manifestations of our environment due to evolution. So yes, in a way, the alpha is the omega because we just continue to recycle our energy. If you're aligning with the concepts of evolutionary astrology, which, as I've said in a previous video, I'm indecisive and go back and forth with that. Part of me believes that and part of me doesn't. I have a retrograde Jupiter, so I'm sure I'm going to struggle with that probably until my next Jupiter return, which will be in about 8-9 years. But yeah, so that is, oh, here we go. Sorry, forgot about this. So your 4 angle houses, which are the ones that are in yellow, that's why they're yellow. It's your AC, your MC, your DC, and your IC. And that's the order of importance, by the way. It doesn't go in numerical order. It's the yourself, what you aspire to be, and your shadow self, your projection, with assimilating into your environment, and your foundation or your origin. So your AC is your instinctive response. Your IC is your shadow self. Actually, no, IC, I got that. Your IC is your foundation. So it has to do a lot with your, well, obviously it's associated with your moon. I don't know why I put that. I think in a way you can project your shadow self at home, but that's more of the real self. The actual self. So there's the instinctive response, and then there's the actual conscious self. And then the DC is the NMS, which is supposed to be your shadow projection, which is the one that was supposed to be written there too, with that. And then the MC is the conscious projected self. So this is how you want people to see who you are. This is the kind of style, vibe that you try to consciously give off. And this is the one that you are not aware of, that you project any of your inner dark secrets. And then, obviously, yeah, I already covered the other ones. Thank you for watching, by the way. And if you have any other questions, subscribe to my channel, write in my comments. For some reason, it filters my YouTube comments. I don't know why. I will attempt to figure that out. Hi, Boo. And, or if you're following me on my Facebook, which is actually where I have more of a following than YouTube, then you can always subscribe to my Facebook page and leave me a question too. I love questions, love to answer questions. It gives me a reason to talk and gives me a reason to talk for reasons that you'll watch the videos. So everybody wins.